My client saved thousands of dollars by hiring me to find them an AI solution. In this video, I'll break down each of those factors and then stay to the end and I'll tell you which software solution I recommended. Here are the 7 factors that I consider when evaluating AI solutions. First and foremost, what is the problem they are trying to solve? For this example, I had a legal team that were sifting through hundreds of pages of documents, printing them out, highlighting them, so then they could build an insurance claim case. It takes them hours and hours to go through this manual process, and they're looking for an automated AI solution. Second step, what are their requirements? Well, in this case, they want to be able to use natural language to search through a bunch of PDFs together. And then the key piece is that they need to be able to get pointed to that specific location in the documents and they can review it manually. Now it sounds simple, but when it comes to AI, the way it's designed, it was actually pretty challenging. And of the different solutions I looked at, only one was able to pinpoint to the exact page, which was super valuable. And then the last requirement for them was security, which, I mean, it's super important, knowing that their data was in these documents. They wanted to make sure that it was going to be safe no matter where it was stored, whether in the cloud or local. So that aligns to our third piece, which is compliance and governance. It's really important that you connect with your client and find out if there are any compliance rules that say maybe your data residency has to stay within the country, or there's any specific HIPAA or PIPEDA compliance regulations they need to follow. Next step is functionality. I mean, the software has to work like they want. In this case, I went through and I looked, keeping security in mind, I looked for local solutions that we could use a local GPU against an LLM, because that would keep the data local to that computer system, knowing that there'd be a larger upfront cost to build that computer. But I thought that way first, but they just didn't work well. All the solutions I looked at, it would search and it would do a summary of the information, but it wouldn't tell you exactly where it found that information and highlight it in the document. And so it was no use to the client. If you're more curious about how an AI vector database works, leave me a comment down below. I can explain how it parses and chunks data a little differently than you'd think, and how it makes this problem a little more unique to solve. Next is usability. In this case, the client were the people using and highlighting the piece of paper and going through, they're not super tech savvy. So they want a solution that was easy, right? They could all log in at the same time, and it was not something that was super overwhelming, which will come in implementation cost later. Price point. I kept this one near the end because it really comes down to your return on investment for the cost of the software. If you consider this case, these team members are spending a lot of hours going through manual documents. Well, there's a salary cost to that. And so if you take out salary cost, let's say it was like $2,000 per claim. And then if they can reduce that cost to say $500 because of this software, you now have a $1,500 per person per claim, let's say, gap. So this software could, as long as it costs less than $1,500, you're saving money. But then it comes to the last piece, implementation costs. So even though the cost may be low, consider what it may cost you to train those individuals, plus the uptime, the learning curve of getting to use this new software. They may be doing this old way of doing it for 20 years of highlighting paper, and they do need to change. So you have to factor that in, what it'll cost to train the individuals on using the new software and to see if the ROI still pans out. So those are the 7 factors that I would consider you looking at when you're evaluating AI software. It's what I do. As for the software I did recommend for this client, it was called Humata AI. I'm not affiliated with them at all. It just happened to be the right solution for the need. I'll put a link in the description down below. So that's it. That was the process. This client was super happy with the solution. If you need some help picking out an AI solution, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to help. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.